Now there seems to be a lot of deceitfulness, fraudulence and damn right fakery going on in the world. Things like these social media apps and filters that make you look more beautiful than you actually are. See what I mean? You can buy fake watches, you can buy fake perfume, you can buy fake designer handbags. In fact, you can buy pretty much anything fake nowadays, including spare parts for gas appliances, which I would definitely advise you not to purchase. There's also a lot of misinformation on the internet. Things like saying air source heat pumps are the future with electric cars, and gas boilers are going to be banned in 2025. Things like that seem to be going on in the world. There's also a lot of fakery and fraudulence going on in the gas industry. Things like the general public pretending to be gas engineers and doing work on their own gas appliances in their own homes. Guys pretending to be gas engineers and actually charging the general public for work they're not able to carry out. And the worst one, actual gas engineers doing work they are not actually competent to do, meaning they are not qualified to do that work. So if you're having any gas work done out there in the future, make sure you ask for the gas safe card for the engineer who's doing the job. And on the back of the gas safe card, it will tell you exactly what that engineer is qualified to do. So just bear that in mind. There are a lot of pretend engineers out there who will do you a cheap job, but doesn't necessarily make it a good job. So always look for the card. But there's not as much fakery, deceitfulness and fraudulence going on in the world to what there was going on D-Day, June the 6th, 1944. So let's get on with it and find out exactly how the American and the British Army were very deceitful towards the German Army. Operation Fortitude was a code name given to the World War II military deception by the Allied nations as part of the overall deception strategy codenamed Operation Bodyguard. Fortitude was divided into two subplans, North and South, and had the aim of misleading the German High Command as the location of the invasion of D-Day. Both Fortitude plans North and South involved the creation of phantom field armies based in Edinburgh and southern England, which threatened Norway, Fortitude North, and Calais, Fortitude South. The operation was intended to divert Axis attention away from Norway and, after the invasion on the 6th of June 1944, to delay the reinforcements by convincing the German army that the landings had been purely a diversionary attack. The real tanks, planes, boats and other army vehicles were replaced by dummy ones when they were moved from their holding areas. The inflatable decoys made the Germans think that the Allies had more equipment than they actually did and helped mask the final preparations that were being made for the invasion. The deception techniques used in preparation for D-Day had previously been used in North Africa in 41 to 42 and prior to the landings in Italy in 1943. The Allies were assisted in these deceptions by two important factors. The first of these factors was Ultra, the code name for the intelligence received from Bletchley Park, where a crack team of code breakers led by Alan Turing had successfully broken the German secret code system called Enigma. The Germans, convinced that Enigma could not be broken, remained totally unaware of the fact and their consequent vulnerability. So the Allies could check the success of any information or misinformation that they had planted by intercepting and reading the decoded response. The second factor was Allies' control over several double agents by the 20 Committee of MI5. The British intelligence agency under the double cross system, their direction for these agents was such that the Germans were completely unaware that they were being constantly manipulated and lied to. Juan Garcia, or codenamed Garbo, was perhaps the most famous double agent of the Second World War. His fictitious reports to the Germans, supposedly supplied by the network of sub-agents, played a crucial role in ensuring the success of the D-Day invasion. In June 1944, the Allied forces successfully landed and established a beachhead in Normandy. Later evidence demonstrated that the German intelligence had believed significant parts of the deceptions, mainly that they thought the attack would take place at the Pas de Calais. Following the invasion, Hitler delayed deploying forces from Calais to other regions to defend Normandy for nearly 7 weeks. The evidence still suggested that the main threat would go against the Pas de Calais and to a lesser extent Norway and southern Europe. This all contributed to the deception. This is the British paradummy Rupert, and this is his American cousin Oscar. The paradummies were part of Operation Titanic, helping to sell the illusion that the invasion at Normandy on D-Day was a feint, while the main invasion force was going to land at Calais. The paradummies were dropped east of the main landing zones. The dummies came in different varieties and proved to be very effective at confusing the Germans during the few hours and the few days before the invasion of 6th of June 1944, D-Day. Some Ruperts were only about the size of a child's doll and worked best when viewed from a distance. Others were full-sized and equipped with uniforms, helmets and boots. They were also made with varying degrees of detail, from featureless forms to detailed faces and even painted eyes. To simulate a real invasion force, some of the dummies were equipped with speakers that played sounds of gunfire and mortars, while others were rigged to explode upon landing. The Ruperts were made of burlap or rubber and were convincing enough to draw away part of the SS Panzer reinforcements sent to repel the British at Caen.
This is Rupert.
This film was taken from the 1962 World War II war epic, The Longest Day. The paradummies are referred to by the Germans as Gummipuppen. The film depicts the confusion and doubt sown into the German command by these dummies, since they couldn't be sure whether the reports of paratroopers were real or simply just a diversion.
Let me show you what happens when Rupert hits the ground. Sergeant, switch off the lights, please.
This is a Rupert paradummy from the Darrell F. Zanuck produced war epic, The Longest Day. As you can see, they're much more lifelike than the original Rupert from World War II, and if you'd wanted to buy one today, it probably cost you just over £3.5 to own one. Now, you might say I'm being a bit dramatic, comparing World War II with what's going on in the gas industry today, but it's not that far apart. There still is a lot of guys out there who think they can work on their own boiler and they're not qualified. Now, I have done a video all about this, which I got out last week, and I will put a link in the description below so you can check that video out and see exactly what you can and you can't do when you're working on your own gas appliances. Basically, it's not a lot. You can disconnect a cooker bayonet and you can change a control knob on the gas cooker, and that's about it. Depending on whether you need to set the cover off or not. But watch that video and you'll find out all about it. But if you are having any gas work done in the near future, make sure the gas engineer who's doing the work for you is actually qualified to do that. Ask for the gas safe card. Don't be afraid to ask for an engineer's card. We would love you to ask us for the cards because nobody ever does. And on the back of the card it tells you whether they are qualified to work on your appliance. So if you want a boiler installed, it will say on the back here that they are allowed to install boilers. So to protect yourself and your family, make sure you only use gas safe registered engineers to carry out any work in your home. You don't want to get caught out by a garbo, do you? And you don't want to turn your house into a scene looking like the Blitz. I know times are hard with this cost of living crisis, But don't try and save a few pounds by using somebody who is not registered, because you could end up with no house at all, or even worse, family, friends, relatives killed in the blast. So, hope you liked the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!